Um, the fruit of our labor, chapter 18, law of attraction. And then our scripture is open. And I know you're waiting for your funny. But before I give it to you, let me give you just a little bit about what laughter does for us. Laughter relieves stress. It can't cure all ailments, but data is mounting about the positive things that laughter can do. Short-term benefits. A good laugh has great short-term effects. When you start to laugh, it doesn't just lighten your load mentally, it actually induces physical changes in your body. Laughter can stimulate your organs. Laughter enhances your intake of oxygen, rich air. It stimulates your heart, your lungs, and muscles, and it increases the endorphins that are released by your brain. Laugh fires up and then cools down your stress response, and it can increase and then decrease your heart rate and blood pressure. The result, a good, relaxed feeling. Laughter reduces and soothes tension. Laughter can also stimulate circulation and aid muscle relaxation, both of which can help reduce some of the physical symptoms of stress. Long-term effects. Laughter isn't just a pick-me-up, it's also good for you over the long term. Laughter may improve your immune system. Negative thoughts manifest into chemical reactions that can affect your body by bringing more stress into your system and decreasing your immunity. But laughter and positive thoughts can actually release those pesticides that helps fight stress. And potentially more, I was practicing it, but you know. But more seriously, illnesses. It relieves pain. It improves your mood. So laughter is very good for our body in many ways to lighten the load. So I have one for you, and this is by way of our Alan Wallace Jr. It says a lady was standing before the judge, and he said, "Ma'am, you're going to represent yourself?" And she said, "Yes, Your Honor." He said, "Okay, well, what are the grounds for your divorce?" She said, 7 acres and a barn. The judge said, No. What is the foundation of your case?" She said, "Grass, dirt, and rocks." The judge said, No, Lord, please help me. The judge said, "Ma'am, does your husband beat you up?" She said, "No, I get up at 4 a.m., he gets up at 8. Frustrated, the judge said, "Just forget it. Why do you want a divorce?" She said, "I don't want a divorce. My husband does. He says I don't have good communication skills." And then I got one more for you since I'm going to be off for a month. It's Men's Month next month, so I got another one for you. It says young Johnny's family were having Sunday dinner at Grandma's house, and everyone was seated at the table. And as the food was being served, little Johnny just began to eat right away, scolded by his mother. "We must pray before we eat." Johnny said, "I don't have to." The mother says, "We always pray when we at home." And little Johnny said, "Well, Grandma knows how to cook." He said, "I don't have to, Grandma." Y'all just added 10 years to your lives. The fruit of our labor. We've had a great month with our queens, Dr. Jewel Diamond Taylor and our Reverend Ruth Lemon. We shall conclude our month, but not the lessons, not the spiritual food we've received. We recognize that feminine energy is not about gender inferiority or superiority, but about a balance of our spiritual qualities. Love, wisdom, harmony, humility, compassion, goodness, peace, optimism, justice, kindness, which are all love in action. The attributes of God within us are limitless. That's why Reverend Ruth reminded each of us to take off the cloak of fear, to know who you are and be clear about whose you are. Reverend Ruth pointed us back to the quote from Marianne Williamson. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We say to ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, successful, fabulous? We should be saying, who am I not to be? We are created and called forth to demonstrate our divinity. Playing it small, hiding our spiritual nature does not serve the world. We're all meant to shine. Our natural light, the light God bestowed upon us, which has no preservatives, such as arrogance, impatience, disrespect, greed, dishonesty, being argumentative, jealousy, envy, being manipulative, judgmental, etc. Those are some of the masks we hide behind to not face our hurts, our pains, our regrets, inadequacies that we've told ourselves or how others have labeled us. It takes more energy to use our power negatively and destructively than it does to live in our natural organic selves. Did you hear what I said? Every time you get angry, you're using more energy than necessary. If you stay in that place of peace, no matter what's going on out there, that's why Jesus told us, look beyond how they're acting. Look beyond what your bank account says. Are you thinking of God for more? Or are you just looking at what's there right now as if there's not another minute coming in a minute? Remember, we shall reap the fruit of whatever we've been sowing. Thoughts and beliefs are rooted in consciousness, which then spills into our lives in many ways. They show up as diseases in many forms. They show up as struggle in many areas. Negative as well as positive will bear fruit. That's why Jewel Diamond Taylor spoke on forgiveness, letting the past go, to not surround ourselves with people who's not growing, not moving forward. We do have a choice to keep living in the past, but we also have a choice to not live there anymore. Forgiveness is a letting go of our ego's attachment to a particular story or who's right or wrong. It's time to move from regret and remorse, that I shoulda, woulda, coulda syndrome. Move to responsibility, resolution, and reconciliation. May we stop waiting on someone or something to make us whole. We already came that way. So may we surround ourselves with those who see our light and celebrate with us. Reverend Paul and I was looking at an interview with ex-football players Shannon Sharp and Magic Johnson. And while Magic would hang out with Jerry Buss, his teammates, he said, would ask him, who are you to be hanging out with the owner of the team? And Magic's consciousness was, who am I not to? He said, Jerry Buss is a billionaire, and I want to know how to get there. None of you can show me or give it to me. So I'm going where I can get it. Needless to say, he got it and more. And he shares it abundantly, which then makes room for more, enjoying the fruit of his labor. He shines his light, and we are to do the same. We each play a unique part in the healing of the world, because there is no one exactly like you that can give what God gave you to give. Williamson said that children are happy because they don't have a file in their mind called all the things that could go wrong. But these days, our babies, our youth have seen and experienced way more than they should. See, our pain and anger and unconsciousness, they see and they feel. They're hurting and they're acting out. It's a lot of suicides among kids 12 to 16 and 17. And this is on our watch. So we have to clean up self so that we can be better examples, better stewards of this planet that God entrusted us with. Every time we walk around in anger, Every time we're sad, mad, regretting, because we can't do nothing about yesterday. We can't even do anything else about this morning. It's already happened. The past has passed. What are you going to do in your now? We're so busy looking back, we don't even see where God has placed us right now. And you're worried about tomorrow when tomorrow will take care of itself. It always has and it always will. What will you input into today to make what we complain about better? Complaining only grows it. Our babies, we need to be better examples. That's why they're always on devices. They don't even want to sit and talk to us. Because we're always telling them what to do and how to do it, and not allowing their God-given talents to display themselves. You see how we turned out by letting people groom us. We should know better. We're here to assist the kids. We got them here. They belong to God. We're supposed to get them on that path and then allow Spirit to blossom through them. They need, we need, the world needs us to step up to the plate of life and swing. Yes, some will strike out, some will walk, but some will hit a home run. It takes courage to endure the pains of self-discovery, to look in that mirror, take a deep look at the core and locate and face whatever it is that suppresses our full divine expression. Be willing to release and let go, to forgive and be free, to see your radiant light, to dream, imagine, vision, believe, and then reach for it. That would be the sweetest fruit of your labor. Think of the best outcome. Because when you forgive someone, you are not saying that it was okay what they did, what they didn't do, but you're saying, I'm freeing myself. Because you're holding them hostage in your consciousness. And whatever is going on in your consciousness, you're going to feel in your heart center. And whatever you feel in your heart center, you're going to vibrate. And that's going to affect your atmosphere and everything that concerns you. So it behooves us to set them free. And we have the keys to do it because we've locked them in our consciousness that they did this and they did that. And we're waiting for them to come and apologize. 30, 40 years later, if it ain't happened then. And you don't need their apology. All you need to do is bless yourself. I'm whole, perfect, and complete. Peace rides with me everywhere that I go. I will not allow no one to rob me of my joy and peace that God has bestowed upon you. You know, I always say this, that we put all these alarms and stuff on cars and houses, but what about your consciousness and your heart? Do you have an alarm on that? You just let people walk on in and just rob you blind, and you standing there looking right at them. May we focus our energy towards that, towards the best possible outcome. Believe and then act accordingly. The fruit of that labor shall unfold beautifully. Wonderful things happen when we choose the positive. Even though we may have all the reasons to take negativity boulevard. You know, some people just like an avenue, a street, or a boulevard just to hang out at. And a lot of people love negativity boulevard. And they're calling you to come join them. We have the ability to shift things just by changing our perspective. May we not rush to get to where we want to go. Our journey is more than the destination. Our path is full of wonderful surprises, adventures, deep lessons, profound transformation, and wondrous connections, and so much more. May we love and be thankful for the journey. Now is the time to believe stronger in your own inner knowing that the desire, the dream is unfolding. Did I say it will come tomorrow or next week? Did I say is? That means it's happening now. If you can connect your consciousness with it, if you can allow yourself to be excited, what is God doing through me now? That's the consciousness we have to carry every moment of the day, because God never sleeps or slumbers. God is always doing something for the one who's expecting, for the one who's opened their mouth to declare, affirm. I didn't say beg or bargain with God. God, if you just do this for me, I promise I'll go to church more than just once a month. That's not the kind of God that we have. God don't care if you go to church or not, because church is within you. So you don't have to bargain with God. You have to make your request known. It is so funny to me that we are quick to really hammer in our order, whether it's furniture, a car, or food. And so clear that we're going to get it exactly like we want it. We can do it with the outside of us, but what about the inner? We should be just as confident, if not more, about our spiritual requests and affirmations. Lord, my body is healing even as I speak right now. And just as soon as you wanting that shrimp plate to come, because if it doesn't come the way that you want it, we say words, words that you don't say in church. We have to do that with our spiritual life. Be as firm, if not firmer. Because once we are anchored in the truth of our divinity and our spiritual journey, everything is going to come wonderfully, because we are a magnet for it. Our vibration calls for good. Our energy field is goodness, because I'm not holding anything against anyone, including self. I'm free. So the universe feels me, and I feel the universe. Even when it doesn't look like something is happening, it's happening. And when we plant a seed in the soil, that's a great example. When you plant that seed, we don't see what's going on until that seed pops open underground and then breaks through that ground and then starts to form. So see, God is doing something through you, for you right now. You can't see it, but it's happening. And as you nurture it, I am being healed. Something is happening in my finances. Something is happening in my relationships. Once you start affirming it, that's your fertilizer in your water. And eventually, it will peek through, and we will get to witness it and experience it. That's how it works. The law. May we move from the past, not hurry to the future. Maximize right where you are. Be grateful for all chapters of your life, even the painful and challenging ones that appears impossible to get over. In the book of James 1:17, where the Bible takes the idea of thankfulness to a deeper level, the act of giving thanks causes us to recognize the one who provides the blessings. 1 Chronicles 16:8, where David writes, "Give praise to the Lord, proclaim God's name, make known among the nations what God has done." True thankfulness is worshiping the giver, not the things. For the things benefit our physical, but directing our thanks to God benefits our soul. There was and is a reason and a divine plan for everything that happens. Everything serves its purpose. And even if we can't believe that everything is working together for my good, then whatever shows up will keep pulling you down. But even if it doesn't feel good, if it doesn't look good, if it's an inconvenience, you got to put your blessing upon it. What is this coming to show me? What lesson do I need to learn from this? I know that this is working together for my good. And then you got to say it until you believe it. And once you believe it, then everything has to conform to your good. God wants you to have a testimony. God wants me to have a testimony. One every hour would be good. She's saying, I need thee every hour. And that's for my blessings to show up every hour. And we don't have to put a size on it. See, we don't get real happy unless it's real big. But just taking your breath is big enough, isn't it? Because then you know that another blessing is coming. Because if you ain't breathing, everything serves its purpose. When then can we continuously strengthening those spiritual attributes and practice the spiritual principles that then sets us up to master our living? Like an inner billboard. You know, you have these big billboards and they advertise and you see it while you're driving. We should have an inner billboard that demonstrates what God is doing in my life, what God has done and what God will continue to do. We should vibrate that. We should be our inner billboard. When people look at you, when they're in your presence, they see the light of God and they feel the presence of God. That's what we're here to do. We're carrying, housing the Spirit of God within us. It's about time we start looking like it, smelling like it, and tasting like it. That displays a spiritual path filled with our magnificent blessings and opportunities God has just for you, just for me. As we journey through this thing called life, let us be reminded life is not just about being here, just existing, but for living, being able to enjoy the fruit of your labor. Ernest Holmes says in chapter 18, Law of Attraction, which breaks down how we attract whatever is desired, needed, and expected, and accepted. Thought can attract to us that which we first mentally embody, that which has become a part of our mental makeup, a part of our inner understanding, reminding us that we are surrounded by mental atmosphere. Everything is about thinking, thoughts. All of you all are contributing to the energy that's in this room. And wherever you go, your thoughts, your feelings will vibrate in the atmosphere. Some circles you love being around and some you don't. You can feel it. The energy field, thought atmosphere. So whatever you're thinking is contributing to the energy that you feel in this room. Because it can never just be about the one person that's standing here. Myself, Reverend Paul, Dr. Ronnie, Reverend Gerald. It can't be just about us. It has to be about you. We are here for ourselves. We're talking to ourselves first. And as I always tell you, y'all just come to eavesdrop. Y'all come in here and y'all go fishing and pull out what you need based on the spiritual food that we're serving. So you have to check your own thoughts. Nobody can do it for you. We can witness it with you. We can put some nuggets out there and you get to partake or not. We are surrounded by this mental atmosphere. This atmosphere is a direct result of our consciousness and unconscious thoughts. What we are aware of, what we're thinking, and then the subconscious is our memory bank. Thoughts that we hold. Through the power of thought, we can either be attracting or repelling, because like attract like. Just like planting carrots, you are not going to get celery if you're planting carrots. So whatever you're thinking, it has to come back to you. That's how God set up the law of the universe, which is a good thing because you know what you've planted and you know what you're going to get. Like attract likes, the mirror of our thoughts is reflecting back to us. It is written, our word is spirit in us. Spoken words are sounds accompanied by energy and vibration sent forth either by the ego or by the soul. Every word we utter should be potent with soul vibration. From our soul, not from how we're feeling and what our mind is telling us, our human mind, and what we're feeling because somebody looked at us one way or another. Because once we do that, then we react. But when your soul calls, when you are in that soul call, then you respond. You'll take a moment before reacting. Because misery loves company, and there's always a spider web waiting to grab whoever. Don't fall for it. Don't let people bait you into arguments, because you're going to pay for it somewhere down the line, because we're out of order with our divine journey. We're out of order. And that's why we're on this big old classroom called the world, to learn, like Reverend Gerald always say, to be more like Jesus. And that means just to take on that patience, that unconditional love, that teaching aspect, that being a demonstration, an example. He said, this that I do, you can do, and then he told us we can even do greater. He handed the baton to us to keep it moving in a divine, spiritual manner and not get caught up in our humanness, our physicality, because all physical stuff changes. It transforms. So to stay hooked on that, something that can come and go, we will be thrown to and fro. But to hang on to that eternal life, we will forever be peaceful in our journey, in our walk, in our conversations, and knowing the answers, the solutions are already within me. The wisdom of God, the peace of God, the love of God, the joy of God. Our words are lifeless if we fail to impregnate them with spiritual power. In other words, we can't just have lip service. You know, I've been in this teaching for 40 years. Okay, what you doing with it? I know the Bible from front to back. I know the Science of Mind textbook from front. Okay, well, what are you doing with it? It's one thing to know, it's another to utilize it, to demonstrate it. And when we brag and say, you know, I could cook a mean macaroni and cheese, well, then you're telling me, you want me to ask you to go cook some. If you're talking about it and bragging about it, you must want to share it. Thoughts, words, saturated, infused with sincerity, conviction, faith, our intuitive nature, shall be filled with everything promised by God and reiterated by the master teacher. Listen, love is what we were created out of and born with. And I'm not referring to our physical parents or the circumstances in which we were conceived. We're going to go deeper. That image and likeness, love that we were created out of, talking about the love God bestowed upon us that we were born with. But fear and doubt and not enough, all of that comes into play when God has given us everything, the means to get whatever the heart desires. But do you really want it? Do you really want peace? Do you really want to display peace and joy? Well, then we have to take the steps to get there. And peace is not arguing with anybody, including yourself. We walk around the house arguing at ourselves for doing this or not doing that. That's not displaying peace. You got to be what you want. You got to be it. Not just want it and talk about it, but be it. Practice walking in peace. And when it rises up, catch it and cast it out. I'm peace-filled. And if you need to go around saying that, say it until you feel yourself at peace. And when you don't know nothing else to say, just say, Lord, help me to feel your presence. Help me to feel your presence. Let me see you in this circumstance or situation. Affirm what you need. The fruit of your labor is going to bear some fruit, and you get to determine what fruit it's going to bear. And all of us, most of us, have come too far to go back. Today, you should be changed. Today, there should be new thoughts running through your mind. I get to set the tone, because remember, choice and dominion we were given. So you get to set the tone of how your life goes. And some people love trauma and drama. Some people just like it. But if that's not you, don't go over to Negativity Boulevard. The rest of this spiritual journey we are on is the unlearning of fear and prejudice and the acceptance of unconditional love back in our hearts, the fruit of our labor. Love is the essential reality and our purpose on earth. We always say, whatever the question, love is the answer. To be consciously aware of it, to experience, is what this month was truly about. This is the true meaning of life. Meaning does not lie in things. True meaning lies within us. What is the fruit of your labor? Peace and blessings. I need to add, for the women, we were supposed to go on the retreat on Wednesday to the Peace Awareness Labyrinth. Deborah called me and said that they are doing some construction. They're putting a disability lift on the property. So our date won't be until the 12th. It'll be exactly the same, but it'll be June the 12th, because they're doing construction. So, okay, if you want to have any questions, you can come and see me.